In the car world, there are certain names that are synonymous with their respective class or niche or what have you. If you ask someone to think of a sports car, chances are it'll be a Porsche 911. If you say think of a luxury car, it'll probably be something akin to a Rolls-Royce Phantom. The BMW M3 fills that role as being the definitive sports saloon. Even though in 2008 the M3 was offered as a saloon, coupe, and convertible, and beforehand was only a coupe or a convertible, when the E90 generation came out, it quickly bettered its rivals, and for good reason. Whilst the Mercedes C63 was a very fun car, it was perhaps a bit too wild for everyday use for the average buyer, and the RS4 was a supremely capable car and a better all round choice than the C63. But the M3 was just an even better choice than that. It was just the car's superior. However, if you were after a car to be a hidden better to the M3, yeah, the Lexus ISF still isn't that, but it's a very different experience, much like the C63. But it's probably why I like it so much because I've always been a fan of more left field, obscure choices, and this Lexus fits that description. Lexus first confirmed the existence of the car on the 6th of December 2006 and revealed it a month later at the North American International Auto Show to launch their F Performance subdivision that went on to produce the marvellous LFA as well as the RCF and GSF. No word on any LCFs yet, but we can only hope. It was sold in both Europe and the USA. It didn't sell particularly well in either market, unlike the standard car, which enjoyed at least moderate success wherever it was sold. This was in part because of Lexus's reputation for building rather boring, if dependable cars, as well as a few notable flaws with the ISF that sort of put it below the BMW and its other rivals, including confusing infotainment, a surprisingly harsh ride for a Lexus, and a slow, unintuitive gearbox. But never fear, most of these problems are actually solved on later models thanks to a decent amount of updates and refreshes that turned it into a fantastic all-round car. And even the earlier models are still quite good, but if you look them up online, you'll see that the later ones do tend to fetch a premium because of their various improvements. This still did little to bolster sales, however, but the car did actually survive all the way until the introduction of the third generation car in 2013. The reason I want to draw more attention to it, though, and the main reason why I like it so much, is because unlike its rivals, it actually has a naturally aspirated 416 horsepower V8, which sounds absolutely incredible, and it sounds like a thunderous muscle car V8, at least to my ears. And that's what makes it such a special and different car, and it's a very different proposition from most other super saloons. Even certainly today you don't really get any naturally aspirated ones, and even back then a lot of super saloons were moving towards turbocharging and in the case of Mercedes supercharging. The styling too, again, more subjective, I think is quite wonderful, and when in a bright colour like red or its signature blue, it's quite aggressive and sharp and angular, and at least to me brings to mind comparisons to things such as a samurai's weapons and armour. When in grey or black, however, it's remarkably understated and it's certainly a proper sleeper. The only obvious giveaways when it's like this are the surprisingly handsome anthracite wheels and the unusual rear exhaust stacks, which again I quite like. It's a bit different and it's not unbelievably ostentatious. One ISF that isn't particularly discreet, no matter what colour you put it in, is the ISF that was used by Humberside Police as a pursuit vehicle to replace their fleet of existing Subaru WRXs, which sort of reminds me of the fact that the British police, they never really use any interesting cars now. They all seem to share the same BMWs and whatever. But before they were using Evos, the ISF, WRXs, all sorts. And yeah, bit of a tangent, but I just thought I'd mention it. Being a Lexus, it will last you until the ends of the earth, even if it's got a large amount of electronics in it. Owners report them being practically faultless, which is what you'd expect from a Lexus. They're some of the most reliable cars you can buy. And for my history with it, I only really realised the car exists after seeing it for the first time in Gran Turismo 6 when I was about 7, and I was immediately drawn to it. I think I did. I think I played the starting race over and over again until I could afford it and used it for ages. I think I did beat the final race in that game. It wasn't that hard. I think I remember there being a touring car version of that in the game, which I bought as well. But I went straight to the ISF over the German counterparts that it has, even though in the European version of Gran Turismo 6, the German cars come first, so you'd have thought I'd have been drawn to those first. But no. And I think it's probably because of the more interesting styling, but I don't know, even now I feel like it has a bit more personality than its rivals, except maybe the wild, Larry C63. So that's why I think this is one of the most underrated performance cars ever made. Now, this video could be a mistake, because if it does well, then the prices will go up, and then I'll never be able to afford one, but that's the risk I'm running. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and have a great day or night or evening or wherever you're on. See you next time. Goodbye.